The secret of building a legacy isn't just about making money. It's about raising children who preserve wealth instead of wasting it. It's about teaching them to think like builders, not spenders. That's how the 1% prepare their kids for money. In this video, you'll learn 5 Rockefeller principles that shape the foundation of generational wealth. These are the same timeless methods that guided John D. Rockefeller, the world's first billionaire. He built Standard Oil, a company that once controlled over 90% of America's oil market. His lessons go far beyond business. They reveal how to create a disciplined family system where money serves purpose, not ego. The first principle is simple but world-changing. Make money work for you. When John D. Rockefeller was just 10, a local farmer asked to borrow $50. Rockefeller agreed, on one condition: 7% interest. A year later, the man returned with $53.50. That extra $3.50 hit the boy like lightning. It was as if money had come alive. He realized that wealth could labor while he rested, that time itself could be turned into an employee. That single discovery planted the mindset that later built Standard Oil. Every dollar is a worker, every cent has a job. To Rockefeller, the person who mastered patience would always rule over the one chasing speed. That belief became the foundation of generational power. The second principle follows naturally: give before you get. His mother, Eliza, taught that money without morality decays. She made him set aside 1/10 of every dollar he earned and give it away, long before he was rich. Before Rockefeller earned his first $1,000, he had already given away 100. That 10% was not charity, it was training. It forced him to remember that he was a steward, not an owner. By giving early, he proved to himself that money would never control him. He later said, "If I had not learned to tithe on my first dollar, I would never have tithed on my millionth." For him, generosity wasn't emotional, it was structural. It made self-control a habit long before temptation arrived. The third principle reinforced the first two: measure everything. When Rockefeller was 16, he bought a small notebook for 10 cents and titled it Ledger A. Inside it, he recorded every penny he earned, spent, or donated. To anyone else, it was a boy's accounting exercise. To him, it was scripture. Each entry revealed where discipline was slipping, where faith was holding, where growth was possible. He said later, "Not all my fortune could buy that little book, because in it lived the habit of awareness." Ledger A taught him that unmeasured money disappears, and unexamined success rots from within. That same precision later shaped the Standard Oil empire, where every expense, barrel, and dollar was tracked like prayer. Once he mastered awareness, Rockefeller moved to the fourth principle: build systems that outlive you. He believed a man's real work began after his own life ended. That belief came to life when, at 19, he saved his church from financial collapse. The Erie Street Baptist Mission was drowning in $2,000 of debt, a huge sum then. When the pastor pleaded for help, Rockefeller didn't just donate, he organized. Standing at the church door, he wrote down pledges, tracked each promise, and collected every cent until the debt was gone. It wasn't faith that saved the church. It was a system built by faith. That same approach, turning good intentions into organized processes, became his formula for everything, from business partnerships to philanthropy to family governance. That leads to the fifth principle: treat wealth as a responsibility, not a right. As his fortune grew, Rockefeller didn't see his riches as proof of success. He saw them as a test of stewardship. He applied the same accounting rigor to his family that he used in business. Every Friday night, the Rockefellers held family meetings. Each member presented reports on spending, learning, and giving. Money was reviewed like scripture, and purpose was discussed like policy. This wasn't tradition, it was training. He wanted his children to understand that inheritance without accountability is decay in disguise. Over time, these meetings evolved into what became known as the Rockefeller Family Office, an institution that still manages and audits generational wealth more than a century later. When his giving grew, his precision deepened. Rockefeller built the modern philanthropic foundation by treating generosity like engineering. He hired experts to study which causes truly changed lives, and he taught his children that giving without analysis could harm more than it healed. His philosophy was clear: emotion inspires generosity, but only structure sustains it. That's why his foundations, like the University of Chicago and the Rockefeller Foundation, still operate with measurable impact today. Even inheritance itself was turned into a test of discipline. Within the family trust, every descendant received distributions only after proving stewardship through annual reports. If their giving was careless or their spending wasteful, the next payment was reduced or withheld. This became known among them as the Rockefeller tax, a symbolic reminder that wealth must be earned, even when inherited. Money had to serve purpose before it could serve people. And then came his final classroom, the Sunday dinner table. Every week the family gathered as Rockefeller shared quiet stories of patience and purpose. He would recall that 7% loan, the church debt, the tithe, the ledger. Between courses, he would ask his children questions like, "What does patience earn?" They always answered, "Interest." But he meant more than financial interest. He meant the interest of time, wisdom, and faith compounding together. His tone was soft, but his message was sharp. Fast money fades, slow money endures. From those dinners emerged a philosophy that still echoes through generations. Patience is profit, and discipline is inheritance. By the time Rockefeller died, his personal fortune equaled nearly 2% of America's entire economy. Yet his greatest achievement was not accumulation, it was transmission. He built a living framework for responsible wealth, ensuring that each generation learned to measure, to give, and to lead before they could spend. His final words on legacy still guide the 1% today. You do not own wealth. You borrow it from your descendants, and they will judge you by how well you prepared them to bear it. And that is how the world's first billionaire built something stronger than money, a system of character. The lesson is clear. If you want to prepare your family for wealth, start where he did. By making money your servant. By giving before you get. By measuring every cent. By building systems that teach discipline. And by remembering that wealth is not a right, but a responsibility. Mastering these 5 Rockefeller principles isn't quick or easy. They demand patience, practice, and emotional restraint. The kind of consistency that takes years to refine but rewards you for generations. Yet once you internalize them, you'll no longer chase money. Money will start chasing you.